All right, so ever feel like your brain just completely throws a tantrum when you even think about trying to learn something new?
Oh, yeah.
Like that new software you have to master, or a mountain of research, or even like trying to switch up your morning routine. Like, why does it always feel like such a battle?
Yeah.
Well, today, we're diving deep into that very feeling, and more importantly, why it's not just you.
Yeah.
Like, this is an actual thing.
It is.
And understanding that why can actually help make those new beginnings a little easier.
Definitely.
So it's fascinating, right? We always tend to think of our brains as being like all about novelty and excitement.
Yeah, like they should be excited about new things, right?
Exactly.
But truthfully, they're actually hardwired for efficiency.
So wait, are you telling me it's not just me being lazy then?
No.
Like there's an actual scientific reason why I would much rather just like stick to my comfy routine than try that new workout everyone's raving about.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, all right.
So think about it like this. Your brain has already created these well-worn pathways for everything you do regularly, from brushing your teeth to driving to work to, making your coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
All those pathways are super efficient,
Yeah.
using like minimal energy, right? But then you introduce something new, like, say, learning to play the guitar or learning a new language or picking up a new sport.
Yeah.
You're essentially forcing your brain to build this whole new pathway through the wilderness, and that takes a lot more effort.
Oh, that makes sense.
And energy.
So is it kind of like if my brain is a city,
Okay.
those routines are like the smooth paved highways I take every day?
Yes, exactly.
And learning something new is like trying to forge this new road through like an uncharted jungle.
Exactly. Can you imagine like hacking through a jungle trying to make a new pathway
Oh, totally.
versus just taking the highway?
No wonder it feels so mentally draining.
Right.
Okay. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that feeling of being lost, like you're just mentally fatigued. Oh, for sure.
Can be like a huge part of why we give up on new things before we even really give them a shot.
Oh, totally.
You hit that rough patch and you think, ugh, this is way too much work.
Yeah.
Back to my comfy highway.
Yeah, to the couch.
Exactly.
Would totally get that.
And then there's this other sneaky trap
Okay.
that we tend to fall into.
What's that?
The expectation that we should be amazing right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I first tried to learn how to code, I was so frustrated that I couldn't just like build a fancy website on day one.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I should be an expert immediately.
Like, where's my $1 million app?
Yeah, exact. Why am I not famous yet?
Like, that's the messy middle.
The messy middle. Okay.
It strikes again.
Okay.
This is that crucial but often dreaded phase of learning where we're past that initial excitement, but we're nowhere near mastery.
Yeah.
We see the polished final product, the fluent Spanish speaker, the marathon runner,
Right.
the expert chef.
And we completely forget about the hours, days, sometimes years
Oh, for sure.
of stumbles and struggles it took to get there.
Right. So much time and effort goes into it. And then we just think, oh, I should be able to do that too.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So we really need to reframe this whole messy middle thing, right?
I do.
It's not like a sign that we're failing.
No, yeah.
It's actually a sign that we're on the right track.
It is. It is.
Okay. So how do we do that?
Yeah. So think about it this way.
Yeah.
If you were teaching a baby to walk,
Okay.
you wouldn't expect them to just get up and strut across the room on their first try.
No, definitely not.
You're going to wobble, they're going to fall.
Yeah.
But each one of those stumbles is actually valuable feedback,
Okay.
helping them refine their movements and get closer to walking independently.
So it's like they're gathering data
Yes,
with
exactly.
every attempt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of beating ourselves up for not being perfect from the start,
Yeah.
we should look at those early struggles as data points. Okay. I like that, data points.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we actually do that, though?
So the more we try to avoid or rush through the messy middle, the more likely we are to get discouraged and give up altogether.
Yeah.
It's like skipping to the last page of a novel.
Oh, yeah.
You might get the gist of the story,
Right.
but you miss out on the entire journey that makes it so compelling.
Yeah, for sure.
So you want to enjoy that whole journey.
Exactly.
All the ups and downs, the struggles,
Yeah.
and, the highs and lows.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we make this messy middle a bit less, messy?
Yeah.
I'm all about the practical tips here.
I gotcha. One of the biggest things is like setting realistic expectations.
Okay.
We tend to fall into this trap of thinking like, we need to make these massive leaps right away.
Right.
You know?
Like, I should be able to run a marathon tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
even though I haven't run in years.
Instead of aiming for that marathon on your first day of training, why not just focus on running for 5 minutes without stopping?
Or, instead of trying to learn a whole new language in a month,
Yeah.
how about starting with just mastering a few basic phrases?
Right. So break down those like big daunting goals into smaller, more achievable steps.
Yes.
It's kind of like building a house brick by brick instead of trying to like magically make the whole thing appear at once.
Yeah, exactly. And each one of those small wins,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how tiny it might seem,
Yeah.
is actually building momentum.
Okay.
It's telling your brain, hey, we can do this. Let's keep going.
Yeah, it's like each small step kind of reinforces that new neural pathway we were talking about,
Exactly.
making it a little bit stronger, a little easier to travel.
Exactly.
Cool.
And that brings us to another key ingredient,
Oh, yeah.
consistency. It's
Yeah.
like watering a plant. You need to do it regularly to see real growth.
Right.
Even dedicating just 10 minutes a day
Yeah.
to that new skill
Okay.
can make a world of difference over time.
So instead of trying to cram in hours of practice
Mm-hmm.
on the one day I have free,
Yeah.
I should focus on making it a regular habit,
Yeah.
even if it's just for a short burst each day.
Yeah.
Kind of like how I finally managed to make flossing a daily thing
Yes.
instead of just remembering it every few weeks.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
speaking of support systems,
Oh, yeah.
have you noticed how even those mundane habits become easier when you have someone else doing them with you?
Oh, for sure.
Like workout buddies?
Yes.
Or study groups?
Totally.
That sense of camaraderie
Yeah.
can be incredibly motivating.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like knowing that someone else is going through those same messy, frustrating moments,
Yeah.
it makes it feel less overwhelming.
Totally.
Like when I was training for my first half marathon,
Yeah.
having a friend to run with made those early morning runs so much more bearable,
Yeah.
and we could celebrate each milestone together,
Yes.
which definitely helped keep us both motivated.
Yeah. That's the beauty of community. Right.
It's not just about having someone to hold you accountable. It's about sharing the journey,
Right.
the ups and downs,
Yeah.
and knowing that you're not alone in those struggles.
Sure.
It's like having your own personal cheering squad
I love that.
to celebrate those wins, big or small.
Okay, so we've got realistic goals,
Yes.
consistent habits,
Yes.
and finding our tribe.
Yes.
But what about that, pesky fear of failure?
Oh, yes.
That feeling of I'm just not good at this.
Yeah.
That can be so paralyzing, even before we really get started.
Absolutely.
How do we get over that?
You're absolutely right that fear
Yeah.
is a huge part of why new beginnings can feel so daunting.
Yeah.
But what if we shift our perspective a bit?
Okay.
Instead of seeing failure as this big, scary monster,
Yeah.
what if we reframed it as valuable feedback?
Okay.
Remember those babies learning to walk?
Yeah.
They don't see falling as a defeat.
Right.
It's just part of the process.
It's data.
It is data. Okay.
So instead of getting caught up in the self-criticism spiral
Yeah.
every time we stumble,
Yeah.
we should be asking ourselves, what can I learn from this?
Okay.
How can I adjust my approach?
So it's less about, I'm bad at this,
Yeah.
and more about, I'm still learning, and that's okay.
Exactly.
It takes the pressure off being perfect right away.
It does. It does.
Okay.
And remember, even the most accomplished people in the world,
Mm,
those folks we might see as naturals,
right.
have faced countless setbacks and failures along the way.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
We just don't see that part.
Right, it's so easy to forget that, especially in the age of social media,
Oh, yeah.
where everyone seems to be showcasing their highlight reel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to focus on our own progress,
Okay.
celebrate our own milestones,
Mhm.
and remember that everyone's journey is unique.
Right.
Comparison really is the thief of joy,
Yeah, it is.
especially when we're trying something new.
Okay, so we've talked about embracing the messy middle,
Yeah.
reframing failure,
Yes.
and finding our cheer squad.
Yeah.
But what about staying motivated when things inevitably get tough?
Yeah.
It's easy to start with a burst of enthusiasm,
Yeah.
but how do we keep that fire going when we hit that inevitable slump?
Right. Yeah. It's like that initial excitement we feel when we start a new book.
Oh,
We're hooked on the first few chapters,
Right.
but then we hit that middle section where the plot kind of slows down.
Yeah.
And it's so tempting to just set it aside and move on to something else.
Oh, totally. And that happens with learning new things too, right?
Exactly. And just with a good book, pushing through those slower parts of the learning journey often leads to the most rewarding breakthroughs.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we stay motivated when we hit those slumps?
Well, one of the best ways is to keep that initial spark alive,
Okay.
to remember why we embarked on this journey in the first place.
Right. That why is so important.
It is. It's like our compass guiding us through those inevitable moments of doubt.
If we lose sight of it, it's so easy to get lost in the weeds and give up.
Exactly. So take some time to reflect on what drew you to this new endeavor.
Okay.
What were you hoping to achieve? What about it excited you?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you wanted to learn a new language so you could connect with your family heritage.
Right.
Or perhaps you decided to take up painting because you've always been drawn to expressing yourself creatively.
Yeah.
Whatever that why is,
Yeah.
write it down. Create a vision board or find some other way to keep it front and center in your mind.
Oh, I love that it's like having that motivational poster hanging right above your desk, except it's personalized to you.
Exactly.
Okay, and you know what else I've found helpful for staying motivated?
What's that?
Sometimes just, like, changing my approach can really, like, re-energize me when I hit a slump.
Absolutely. It's easy to get stuck in a rut when we're trying to master a new skill.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment with different learning styles or techniques.
Okay.
If you're finding that traditional textbook learning isn't clicking, maybe try a more hands-on approach. Right.
Or if you're feeling burnt out on solo practice, seek out opportunities to collaborate with others.
So if that language learning app is starting to feel like a chore,
Yeah.
maybe I could join a conversation group or find a language partner to practice with.
Exactly. That would make it more fun and engaging.
Right. And make it feel less like I'm studying and more like I'm just like hanging out with friends.
Yeah. And remember, the journey itself can be just as rewarding as the destination.
Okay.
Try to find ways to make the learning process enjoyable.
Yeah.
Celebrate those small wins along the way,
Right.
no matter how insignificant they may seem.
So instead of focusing solely on that end goal of fluency,
Yeah.
I could celebrate the fact that I can now confidently order a coffee in Spanish, or that I understood a whole paragraph in that Spanish novel I've been wanting to read.
Exactly. Those small victories are like fuel for the journey.
Okay.
They remind us that we're making progress, which can be incredibly motivating when we're feeling stuck.
Okay, so we've talked about remembering our why.
Experimenting with different approaches
Yeah.
and celebrating those small wins.
Yeah.
But is there anything else we can do to make this whole process a little bit easier?
Yeah, don't forget the power of community.
Oh, yeah.
Connect with people who are on a similar journey. Share your experiences, challenges, and triumphs.
Yeah. Like, find your people.
Exactly. Sometimes just knowing that someone else understands what you're going through
Yeah.
can make all the difference.
That's so true. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's like one final piece of advice you'd give to our listeners who are about to embark on a new beginning, whether it's learning a new skill, starting a new project, or simply trying to establish a new habit?
Embrace the journey with all its messiness and uncertainty.
Right.
Remember your why.
Right.
Celebrate those small wins.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to seek out support when you need it. New beginnings may be challenging,
Yeah.
but they are also opportunities for growth, discovery, and incredible fulfillment.
I love that. So well said.
With-
And just remember, everyone out there, you got this. We're all cheering you on.